Hey guys, welcome back to All Things Knives. It's your host Fletcher, and today we are going to be going over 5 knife designs killed by inflation. Alright, there's probably some knives on here that you're thinking, what in the heck are they doing here? Don't worry, I'll get to that. I'll explain. First off, we have the Spyderco Shaman. This is a Golden Colorado design from Spyderco. Very, very popular. This knife was originally $150. Currently, it is sitting at $234, I believe, for a standard one, or $230 to $240, which is absolutely ridiculous. This knife comes out of the same factory, has the same construction and same materials as the PM2 and the Para 3. So the fact that they're charging as much as they are for it, absolutely ridiculous. I know it's limited myself and other people from only buying this knife if an exclusive comes out. So how do you think that affects, newcomers to the EDC realm, or even old, people who have been around for a while that have seen these price hikes? It kind of discourages them, and they feel like the value isn't there anymore because they're getting the same knife they could have, years ago for $150. That's now over 200, despite nothing really having, no new steel, no new construction. It's staying exactly the same. So I think for that reason, despite me loving the Spyderco Shaman, I absolutely love this design, that and the Native 5. I just think you get a better value at the Native 5, and I think that kind of sadly kills this design a little bit. Next, we're moving on to the bug out. This is my S90V bug out. Yes, it gets a lot of use. Yes, it is dirty. I'm a grown man. I'll clean my knives when I want to. The custom configurations of this knife are nice to have. And the exclusives, I think, really won't go up that much in price. But for the standard version right now, you're talking S30V and FRN for $160. Or something like $162. Now, I love this design, and it has served me really, really well. But you're telling me, yes, I'm okay with plastic handles, but you're telling me I'm paying for plastic and S30V for how much? $160? Why don't I just go buy a Hogue Deca and Magna Cut for $120? It's starting to get to the point where the value for the knife and the materials it's made out of, it needs to change. Like some new materials or some budget lines need to be introduced, because this is a great design, and the price should not be a factor in terms of limiting this design to people, because the form factor is amazing. So say they did a budget line of this, it would probably rejuvenate the bug out. But I get people who are like $160 for that. Yeah, I kind of agree with you, because these used to be $124, and now just from 2017 to heck, I think this knife used to be even cheaper, but from 2017 to 2022, 5-year difference, it's gone up $40. So that's an average of $8 increase a year. What are you getting different value-wise? Literally nothing. Now the Chris Reeve, I'm probably have some of you that will say, no, the Chris Reeve is fantastic. I love my Chris Reeves, but I kind of thought they were a little overpriced to begin with. Yes, aerospace tolerances, and fantastic fit and finish. But I've seen some of these that have, I would say, ridiculous fit and finish. Like Civivi has better fit and finish sometimes than some of the Chris Reeves I've seen. The warranty, I don't really have any qualms about the warranty. You can literally buy any piece of this knife you want, which is nice. I would say at the prices they were, where it was already pretty high, and they've just gone up, I think, another $50. They held out as long as they could, and I respect that. They are a business, and they are expanding, but this is a knife that's already kind of hard to get, and now the price is even more. This is a knife that, for me personally, was already a grail knife, and now it's just might as well be up into the custom range. Now, I'm not really, they provide a great product, so I'm not like super upset about it. I get it. Everyone raised their prices. I was surprised Chris Reeve didn't do it at the beginning of the year, to be honest. But I know the steel prices just changed and everything, and so everyone's prices are going to go up. I don't think this one's on here to really provide an example of in the upper hand market. I do think that these tend to be a little more resilient to inflation, so I don't think it entirely kills the design, because this is an iconic knife. This is people's grail knife. People are still going to save up for this. But I brought this in as a talking point of, you know, of the value, right? People are still going to buy this because it's a Chris Reeve, right? It has a name, it has a reputation, and frankly, these knives will go to hell and back. But in terms of the value, you're getting the same. I mean, they're switching to Magna Cut, but the cost of Magna Cut, very similar to its, to its normal stainless steel. You're not getting much more in terms of value, and the price is going up $50 more. So I don't think it kills the design, but I think it, again, just limits it even more to more people who could love this knife. And, you're waiting 2 years for the knife. So I think it's going to turn off a lot of people from the Sebenzas. Do I think it should? No, I do think they are a great knife. Does it sadden me that the prices went up? Yeah, of course. I mean, who wouldn't be sad that prices went up? But understandable. But I do think it'll limit even more people from, because $50, that's a tank of gas for a Honda Civic nowadays. That's how much it takes up to fill up my Honda Civic. So if someone's having to choose between their grail knife and being able to fill up their car one more time, I think the car is going to win, and I think that will limit just how many people are able to buy this design. I don't think it necessarily kills it, but it severely limits it. The Benchmade Griptilian. It has been a staple of the EDC community for, I think this came out in 2003, and it's 2022 right now. So almost 20 years, almost as long as the Osborne. And these, relative to the rest of the Benchmade lineup, yes, are their cheapest option, I believe, besides like the SOCP Dagger fixed blade and maybe some of the other fixed blades. But this is $140 or 131 for D2. I had this tested. It's at 60.5. So the microstructure on this better be pretty fantastic compared to the Chinese D2. But, again, what are you paying for in a Griptilian? S30V plastic with some steel liners, okay? I can get a Hogue Deca in 20CV G10 for 157. That's a $20 difference. I might as well just go for the Hogue. Or a Spyderco Para 3, $160. Or a Native 5, lightweight. I think they're $120, $110. Prices have changed, so I know that they used to be like $98. But in terms of the value, again, I think it's the same thing with the Bug Out. It's an iconic design, and so it'll still fill a niche, but I think I think it's the same case as with the Chris Reeve. Yes, relatively it's cheap to the rest of the Benchmade, so I think it'll still sell well, but it's just limiting it to more people. Because one more price hike and it's out of the $150 range, which for a lot of people, they come up to my counter. I get some people who are like, anything under $100. That used to mean the Griptilian. Well, nowadays they say anything under 150. Well, that's the Griptilian. And it's gone up a lot. So you're not really getting anything different in terms of the value, yet the prices keep increasing. So it keeps limiting it to less people, which I think ultimately, I don't think it'll entirely kill the design. That's really more of a provocative title, but it severely limits it. And one more price hike, which with the way things are going, will probably be next year. And I just don't see much use in getting a Griptilian anymore unless it's an exclusive of some kind. Then I would be like, heck yeah, man, a limited steel, some G10 handles, go for it. Lastly, now, we all know China is able to make stuff incredibly cheaply, But a company like Civivi, they use CNC machines. I don't think there's a whole lot of human labor that goes on there. I mean, if you look at their factory, you're talking hundreds of CNC machines just going all of that. I mean, I've seen them. They're all in a row. I haven't been there, but from the photos I've seen, it's a lot just going, right? And so, you know, their cost is really going to be in the materials, right? Well, depending on who they get their D2 from, metals overall have increased, you know, and the cost of everything has increased overall. Even if you're in a control market or a command economy, kind of like how China is with some of their free market zones. But even then, you know, I don't think it spells an end for Civivi, like the Elementum. I think it's an iconic design at this point. It's ingrained into the EDC community. What I think it will spell the end for a lot of this increase in steel prices, materials, and gas will be, I think it'll, if not this year, you know, hopefully never, right? But I think after this year, I think it'll eventually lead to the demise of the $50 D2 flipper. You know what I'm saying? Like designs that have, you know, people who don't have a whole lot of money just absolutely love, or even people who do, who just love a beater knife. I think it's going to lead to the end of these $50 flippers, and we're going to see more of what Civivi's been putting out, which is like $70 Nitro V button locks and, you know, flippers, frame locks. But I think it's, hopefully Sencut's able to continue it at the $50 mark, but the margin on these for sellers is so high that maybe they'll afford to be able to take a hit. But if these start to go, sorry guys, little interruption, I'm cooking. Let me turn that off real quick. I'll try and edit that out. If not, blooper reel at the end. What that's going to mean for these $50 D2 flippers is maybe the community will be willing to pay more for them, but I think it'll mean basically not the end of this design, because they can always upgrade the materials and I think people would still buy it. But I think it'll mean the end to a genre within the knife community. Heck, I could be wrong. I could just be completely pulling stuff out of my butt, but I think it will lead to the end of $50 D2 flippers, even in somewhere where in China where labor is super cheap and materials are super cheap. Inflation will affect everyone because of the global market, the global market as a whole, and maybe not because of what happened there. But I know the global market as a whole will be taking a hit. And just in terms of steel, I mean, the U.S. is a huge manufacturer as well for a lot of steel, and that might affect other places, but I'm pretty sure China produces a lot as well. But if their costs go up for what they import in terms of oil, we'll see it in terms for the consumer. And I think it'll spell an end for this genre of $50 D2 flippers. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts. Sorry that my Instant Pot went off during the video. I might leave that in as just a little, it might be annoying to you guys, but I kind of think it's funny. Leave your thoughts down below. I always appreciate your guys' thoughts, and this video is meant to start a conversation. If you completely disagree with me and you think everything I just said is bull honky, tell me. I'm a grown man. I'm okay with it. Plus, I can always just not respond to your comment. But just leave your thoughts down below. Please turn on the notification bell. It lets you know when I post a new video, and if you like knife content, I got a lot coming your way. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and don't you ever forget, stay sharp.